So I said before in the last video, maybe we're going to do countdown next. Just kind of talking about playing on non-diatonic changes. And here we are. Okay, so obviously one of the easiest ways to approach soloing on this tune is to just do like the kind of lick that I had in the very beginning, which was alright, then you would do that on the next set and the next set. I guess I should back up. So, the thing that makes this particular tune special is the fact that you have 4 sections of changes. So, you have this, right? And then you do the same thing 2 more times, but down a whole step and then down 2 whole steps. And, so in the next section, same thing, but down a whole step. So once you have a strategy for the first section, you can just copy it over onto the other 2 sections. And then finally, the last section is like a coda. It gives you a little bit of respite, like that you can just kind of gather yourself and think about what you're going to do with the next chorus. So yeah, the simplest way to approach that is the kind of traditional way of doing it, the studio improv way, right? Which is like the digital pattern. Do the first 3 or 4 or 5 notes of the major or minor or mixolydian or something, or pentatonic, and then just move it, And then you kind of see what that pattern is, and then you can just apply it to the other, you know. You know. Oops, let me actually play it right. Right. So that's one way of approaching it. I tend to think of this thing as having just key centers. So what I mean is, like, if you understand that, like, you're in E minor, then you change to another key center. You have F7, B flat major 7. Well, those two are related. So you can literally, you know, just play either F mixolydian or B flat major, right? Then we're in another key. Sorry, I keep having to clear my throat for some reason. But you know, then we're in another key, so that's either D flat or G flat. So maybe I'll just play like D flat. Then we have another key, and that's you can either play like you know, A mixolydian or D major. And they're obviously related. The A7 is the 5 of the D. So let's count this. We got 1 key, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it changes keys 4 times in the first section. So we just have to really know where those shifts are to do this. So obviously you don't want to just copy and paste your phrases from the first part into the second one, though, because it's not very hip to do that. It's kind of, you know, unless you're going for that digital type of a thing. That's its own beast, you know, that kind of approach. So sometimes I might even, you know, kind of like play you know, maybe something like that, you know, like play one way, then change to that, change to that, change to that. But like in the first video where I was talking about like you have a phrase and you're continuing the phrase regardless of what the harmony is, right? So same thing applies. So like we could do, you know, we're just E minor here. kind of just thinking little motivic things, but connecting them by the next nearest note a lot of the time. So we're going like, so that's like the fourth of the next chord. Hopefully it's pretty easy to see what's going on there. I think that probably helps to slow it down like that. Yeah, there's another way though too. Once you kind of are thinking in this direction, you can think about pentatonics. So forget about the seconds, generally speaking. Although that's not always true. I mean, you could have like a pentatonic based lick that's not a true pentatonic, but it has the same character. Well, it's a true pentatonic, but it's not in the traditional sense of the third. It's like a sus pentatonic. So you got like root, second, 4, 5, flat 7, versus you can't really tell the difference until you cadence that around the third. In this particular instance, the second or the third are like secondary on the beat structure. So you can play around with those kind of sounds, and usually find some interesting things. I might even do that. It's really just using your imagination beyond a certain point. For like the more of the traditional approach, I think is a good idea, at least at first. That way you're grounded in something that's I say useful, like conventionally useful. So like those kind of little motivic things. kind of like as you develop more confidence, like the idea is to leave some stuff off. So sometimes maybe I'll play on 2 or 3 chords, leave 2 or 3 off, and then continue that until it loops around, and then you're playing on the chord you weren't playing on before. That kind of stuff. Also, just trying to be rhythmically hip in your note choices as well, too. Like just really getting in the pocket. Maybe you don't even start right on the downbeat. Yeah, just and again, like I play it differently every day that I mess around with it. Sometimes I maybe want to go off of the B minor with the E, you know, like the fifth. Like that kind of thing. But predominantly, you know, the general idea is just to, you know, think of it as key centers, find out where they are, and then learn the shifts. And then you can kind of come up with your own strategies on, like, how you want to make the changes. Sometimes I'll, you know, like, just like I was talking about before in the last video, like, limit myself to, like, one region. I don't know, like here or something, and try not to move my hand, yet still make the chords, you know. So I kind of end up putting my hand in a weird spot like that, you know. So let's try the D again. Yeah. And you end up coming up with some interesting stuff there, you know. Really, it's just once you get the basic crux of the general thing, the general idea is just to just basically start thinking of intervallic structural things that you can change. You might even want to, you know, like work it out arpeggiated. So. Including the 7th arpeggios, if you can do it. And you know, that's just chop stuff though. And then, you know, kind of slip that in every once in a while when you're playing. I've also seen like some back a long time in the past, like some of these seminars like Barry Harris would give, like where he's like playing chromatic blues type scale stuff over these and giant step type changes. So instead of intervallic, it's just straight up, you know. Another thing I like to do is just play the root note and then improvise on top of that, and then you can really hear if you're hitting the changes right or not. And that's a lot of fun, but eventually you want to be able to play it fairly fast too. Although I don't know, it's kind of gauche to just like play all these tunes as fast as you can, because then you end up just playing patterns that you worked out in advance, and like and I mean, anybody that can think close to 300 legit over this kind of chords, I don't know, maybe you don't even need to be playing music. You obviously have some kind of superior brain or something like that, right, to be able to do that fairly easily. But anyway, it's my 2 cents on that. But yeah, just being able to play it at a brisk tempo, yeah. So it's pretty much all I wanted to cover with this. Some stuff to think about. As always, like and subscribe, please. And if you enjoyed this, then be sure to watch the next video, because you never know what I'm going to do. And neither do I. So, yep. And I'm just going to play you out with some more improv on these chords. So, see you next time.